Master Bruce. I see we've had another visitor at the mansion. Now, who was it this time, sir? Was it Killer Croc, perhaps? The penguin with all of his delightful umbrellas? It wasn't the Joker. Please tell me, sir, you did not get visit from the Joker. Really? Poison Ivy did all of this? Quite industrious, that woman. To think that you and her dated at one point, it beggars the mind. Well, sir, I have a simple solution for everything. A broom. Nothing like a simple broom to take care of what ails you. Sir, I don't know if you recall, but when you were very young, you broke your mother's favorite vase. Ming Dynasty, 9th century, do you recall? Do you remember what she said to you? She said to you, Bruce, I'm not angry that you broke the vase. One day, a vase will break. That is what vases do. What I care about is what you're going to do about it. And she got out this very broom, sir. And you then proceeded carefully over the next half hour to sweep up every piece of her vase. And then you sat in your father's study for the next 2 hours, carefully piecing together all of the broken bits. I should have known then, sir. I should have known at that time that you were a true detective. Because the way that your mind just latched on to those pieces, you began fitting them together one after another. And of course, you were 5 years old. It did not look fantastic, but it did look like a vase. And do you know that your mother told your father how proud she was? Not that you had broken the vase. She was rather upset about that. It was a family heirloom. But that you had tried, that you had sat down, and that you had tried. Now, sir, I know that you are busy saving Gotham and that there is a never-ending supply of rogues' galleries. But will you come with me, sir? Just for a little while. Let's you and I do a bit of cleaning. Perhaps you can pick up, I suppose, giant dead plants? Is that what those are? I'll bring out the large dustbin so that you can deposit them as needed. I don't believe the police are currently aware of Bruce Wayne's predicament, so perhaps we will be able to make do. Now, Master Bruce, are you happy? Honestly, sir, I understand that your line of work does not lend itself to boundless joy. But do you get satisfaction in putting these criminals in jail? Does it help you in your heart when you stop Catwoman from doing another burglary downtown? I understand, sir. Those are satisfying in their own way, but the true satisfaction is every single life you stop from being lost, just like your mother and father. Every single orphan that you save from being an orphan. That is a win, sir. You win every single night, even though you are never done, even though your journey will never end. You still have won, sir. You still are victorious. Yes, those plant golems still twitching a bit. I believe we have some Roundup in the shed. Perhaps you could lay your hands on that and perhaps put them out of their misery. Oh, I should have realized you would have something like that in your utility belt. Do you know that I know, sir? I know what inspired your utility belt. Of course I do, sir. I remember Jenkins as well as anyone else. When you were a lad, you were fascinated by the repairsman Jenkins. Now, I'm quite handy around the house, both fixing the many panes of broken glass that we have to deal with in this house, but also occasionally stitching you up, sir, when you come in rather banged up. But Jenkins was the best handyman I had ever worked with, and your father knew it. He hired Jenkins constantly to come here, and I don't think you ever knew, but he gave Jenkins a very, very large Christmas bonus and made sure that he was able to retire in comfort. It's just the kind of man that your father was. But I remember how you would follow Jenkins around, and you were always watching his utility belt. You were fascinated by it. Do you remember what you said to him? I do. I remember you saying, Mr. Jenkins, do you have the whole world in there? And he would laugh with his Maine accent, and he'd say, well, no, just what I need. It's only got what I need. I'm sorry, I do a terrible Maine accent. That was your inspiration, wasn't it? Before you go out every night, you thought to yourself, who am I most likely to face tonight? Who am I most likely to encounter? It was those series of disappearances at the club down on 4th Street. You knew that there was a plant-based toxin that was getting into the drink, and you knew that you might be encountering poison ivy. Very ingenious, sir. I must say that I'm quite impressed. You make sure that, like Jenkins, you don't have to carry the world. You just have to carry what you need. But, sir, I also want to urge you, only carry what you need on your shoulders. You bear the weight of the world on your shoulders, sir. But the only shoulders you need to bear is that of Gotham. And that's more than enough. That's more than any one man should be able to hold. But I know that you can do it. You have saved the city countless times. Ra's al Ghul's bombs, jokers, poison, and the Riddler's devious traps. You have overcome them all. And you'll keep doing so. But don't let yourself get burdened down. Don't let yourself get crushed like that poor statue of Augustus. It wasn't original, you know. Your father would often sit in his study at night looking at it. It's the one, isn't it? It's the one on that night when you came back bleeding, in despair, your first attempt at going out. That's when it happened. When the bat came crashing through the panes of glass. If you remember, sir, not just you that I stitched up that night, also the glass. And you told me about it later. The bat who laid upon the bust of Augustus. And you said to yourself, I shall become a bat. And you've done great things, sir. I want you to know that your parents would be proud. But you know what would make them the most proud? If you helped an old man carry 600 pounds of drying shrubbery from a supervillain out to the dustbin. I hope you've enjoyed this ASMR video roleplay with Alfred. If you'd like to see Alfred and more, why don't you check out some of the other videos and make sure to subscribe. I would love to have fun with you.